Out here with Cliff Worley, and you're right here in the heat of it in Oakland, California. So, what's today's date?
Today is
It's the 10th.
You know what? It's day 91 of being on lockdown for me. So I don't know what day it is. I went on lockdown March 11th for shelter in place. And so I haven't had a haircut in a long time. But yeah.
I was going to say, this is like the most grown out I've seen you.
This is the new Cliff Worley look. I hope everybody likes it because I'm going to keep it.
Yeah. So can you give us a little just background on who you are?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So born and raised in Oakland. I am a marketer at heart. I've worked for celebrities, investors. I used to work with Damon John from ABC Shark Tank, doing his marketing. And I just love marketing. I'm on the board of NASDAQ's Entrepreneurship Center in San Francisco. And my current job is I'm a chief communications officer at the K4 Center here in Oakland.
Yeah. And we talked the other day about, you also know a lot about social media.
Yes.
Yeah, being with communications and all that kind of stuff. So you have this specialty that is really valuable in the world, period. And then we started going down some rabbit holes real quick, and which I want to get into here, which is partly what created the situation we're currently in. And you were tying together a lot of things that we should notice that a lot of people probably don't appreciate.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think one of the first things is that once COVID hit, and I saw COVID coming, I was watching Wuhan very closely. And I was starting to warn people hey guys, there's some shit out there that we need to start paying attention to because if it comes here, it's not good. And around the beginning of March, San Francisco was one of the first places to pull the trigger on the lockdown. So I was like, thank you, Mayor London Breed, for that, because I knew that, it was going to get out of hand. And going on shelter in place, I think we went on March 16th. What that does is it gives you a lot of free time. And one of the first things we shut down were sports, right? The Warriors couldn't play anymore. I'm a huge Warriors fan. And so there's no sports on TV. Everybody's at home with their family, friends, right? And there's this wild virus going on outside. And so, you have to adjust and think about also okay, well, how do I live in my space, right? Some of us are working from home, so we got to figure out how do we actually work from home. But at the end of the day, everybody's got a lot of time, and so one thing people turn to is social media, right? I think in the beginning of COVID was right when Tiger King dropped, and so everybody was Tiger King on social media. It's
Dude, that shit was wild. Yeah. I tried to watch it. I got 2 shows in.
Yeah, that's all you had to watch was 2.
Terrible.
Yeah. So, Tiger King dropped, and that was kind of okay, on social media, everybody was you had that FOMO, I got to check this shit out because I'm what is this about? And so social media became our TV channels, right? TV stations, because all you were getting on TV was really just news that was about COVID, and it was super sad, people dying, and so I think a lot of people turned to social media. Fast forward,
Well, I'll say this: I really haven't had a TV since 2012.
Yeah.
And I got everything off Twitter. All my news was Twitter for a long time. Yeah. Instagram has replaced that to a degree.
Yep.
So I'm an early adopter, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me that when I watch TV, I go, this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then it's now it's but Twitter's better. Really? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I go to Twitter for news. Legit, I get all my news from Twitter. Yeah. I have a Twitter account that just follows certain news accounts, and that's what I get all my stuff for. Instagram is more of what's trendy, right? What's the trendy thing going on? And there's news, there's actual video footage, picture footage and stuff like that on Instagram. And then, if you want to just see silly stuff, you go on TikTok. There's nothing wrong with TikTok, but if you want to have fun.
I tried to figure out TikTok.
You haven't figured it out? I just started on it, and I actually respect TikTok a lot, and I think it's going to be bigger than Instagram. I have a feeling, because they have found a way for you to just be creative, and there's actually like a subset of TikTok where you can learn some things. So like if you wanted to like show people like how in 30 seconds you can set up a podcast with your cell phone and 2 mics.
Yeah.
That information is super valuable for people. For you, it only takes 2 seconds to explain. But something like that can just go on TikTok real quick, and the way they have the editing for TikTok, the editing features, just makes it cool.
I've made a few videos. It was cool. I was able to was on a week-long trip and with a couple buddies, and I was able to just like plug in all these pictures, and then I set it to music, and then it synced the videos, the cuts to the music. And if I changed the song, different cuts would be longer. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. They've got it down. I mean, like if Instagram, Facebook doesn't copy those features immediately like they did Snapchat, you're gonna lose a base. Because for me, I've just been seeing, and the way I actually really kind of got into TikTok was like I kept seeing TikTok videos on Instagram. And I was like, what the hell is this? And then so I was like, let me just go in there and play around. And then, the TikTok algorithm is just like, it feeds you what you want. And so I just have a feeling that if Facebook doesn't get there fast enough and copy or purchase.
Well, let's talk about that, because I think that, I don't think everyone appreciates how different their feed is from other people's feed.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
Because, like, I see my feed and I'm like, the world looks a certain way.
Yeah.
And then someone else sees their feed and the world looks like people go, fuck Facebook. I'm getting off Facebook. My feed is just full of bullshit. And I'm going, you chose all that bullshit.
Yeah. No, like, people don't understand the algorithm, right? And so, Facebook at the end of the day wants you to have a good experience on their platform so that you always come back. So if you're a firefighter, they're going to show you a lot of firefighter things. Okay, you're going to have a lot of friends who are firefighters. If you're a school teacher, they're going to show you a whole bunch of different teacher things, okay, and things like that. And so you basically create this bubble. And because unless you're like have just a diverse set of friends, you're going to get the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's just how the game works.
So you think the world is a certain way.
Yeah. And I think I think they talked about that a lot in the election of 2016 with Donald Trump, is that you have kind of different groups, like almost like social organisms, organisms. Yeah, right? Is that right? I don't know. There's just different groups of people.
Yeah.
There's different groups of people that are out there that we don't get to actually see. But I bet you if you go into like the master screen of Facebook, they've probably got all these different subsets and they're just watching us how we interact, right? And they're feeding, this guy, he likes sports, so let's put him over here. Let's do this, serve him this content. Oh, there's a lot of people that are liking this sports content. Serve that video through the feed, right? And so they have all this data on us that keeps us in our bubbles. It's a bubble at the end of the day, right? And so a lot of us don't realize that. So like, there are some other bubbles out there that we would probably really disagree with, but Facebook would never show that to us because we don't have friends and we don't want that. That's going to be a bad experience.
Because it's like I start seeing that all the time, I'm going to stop going on Instagram.
Exactly.
Although, I mean, I think a lot of people are agitated right now.
Oh, for sure.
And are more addicted to it.
Oh, yeah.
There's the drama.
Yeah.
The drama of it.
It's definitely heightened. I mean, I think, back in the day, it's like, there's no way you'd be able to see a killing on social media. But now it's kind of like, all right, we're going to show you some extreme violence and we're not going to warn you. It's just going to be like you scroll and boom, there it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's like I
remember when it was hard to find killings online.
Yeah.
I remember when you had to like go to like the secret
dark
site
web.
And you had to get like access to this forum.
Yeah.
I got some sick friends.
Yeah.
I was in the military once.
Yeah. Now there's some dark shit out there.
And but now you're right. Like shit was like we watched that on Instagram.
Right. Yep.
And that was
now we're just at a point in time where it's like it's accepted. Where you can pretty much go in there and see anything. Like you can damn near see porn, you can see murders, you can see robberies, You see whatever's out there, which I thought Facebook has like a content moderation team, but I'd be interested to see their guidelines now, because now it's like they'll just show whatever. But I think that that's changed over time, and I think I appreciate some of it because you get to see what really happened versus like waiting for the media story.
Totally.
So because the media definitely has a swing on things, and so sometimes I'm kind of like, what actually happened down there that night?
Yep.
If you show me the footage, then I get to make a decision, right? And so I think that might be the way that Facebook is kind of approaching that.
Yeah. I've been watching. I put myself in an interesting position the last few months because COVID hit, and I said, "Well, I'm going in the country.
Yep.
I'm going out in the mountains."
Good choice.
And then the George Floyd murder happened, and I'm watching that, and then I'm just it's like the dominoes got pushed, and I'm just watching it go down.
Yeah.
And I started wondering. I go, well, how much? Okay, if I watch the news, I'm getting one thing, but most of my information comes off Instagram. Personally. Yeah. Instagram, podcast, YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where I get my information. Some Twitter. But I started noticing, it was like, I'm seeing all the same perspective on Instagram. So I started following people, all sorts of different people. I started like connecting dots. And now, like if you look at my Instagram feed now, I got left wing, I got right wing, I've got Q anonymous. I got I got the whole thing. And I go, I want to make sense of this. And like, I actually last week spent a lot of time on Instagram and just like started liking stuff I wouldn't normally like. And I actually started getting different shit in my feed. Because I intentionally went out there to find it.
Right.
But then like I'll start talking to people and I can tell they've only gotten one sliver. Like they've only gotten like one piece of it. And I'm not saying I've got all of it.
Yeah.
But I attempted to.
Yeah. That's interesting. I should try that too one day. But yeah, I mean that's how the algorithm works. It takes what you have interacted with, and that is a signal to say, hey, this guy might be interested in anonymous content, so let's push that there. Even the post that you comment on, or even when you send direct messages to people. So if you sent me a direct message, then now I'm more prone to pop up in your Instagram story feed as like, oh, this guy has sent messages to him. There's some connection there. So let's see. Let's continue that conversation. Because at the end of the day, Facebook is just trying to connect us all.
By the way, quick tip. One of the things I do, I don't do it all the time. Some of you have probably experienced this. But when someone follows me, like every once in a while, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this. I message every person that's followed me in the last 24 hours. I'll shoot them a video.
Oh, wow.
I'll go, hey, how's it going? Thanks for following me. Appreciate it. I'm curious about where you came. And I'll do that. I don't do it all the time. Like, I want to do it more because I get so many good conversations. I say a third of the people hit me back up and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you messaged me. But I know that they're now I'm in a consistent conversation with them over time. And a lot of those people like become clients or become friends. Like one girl I went on a date with. Like I'm just like following. I was like, hey, why you follow me? And she's like, oh, my friend was wanting. My favorite one is my friend was wanting to know if you were legit or not. So I'm here to scope you out.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope. Sending in the troops. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, that type of thing. Like you can't hack the algorithms. Like we know certain stuff like that. You can't. And the best marketers. They know these hacks.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's great because the tip. And when we're talking social media, like if you're trying to build your audience, some things that I do is I'll just ask, somebody who interacts with a lot of my posts and say like, how does my content make you feel? Like, are you feeling good? What do you like the best about it? Like which post, like, so you get these little tips from your biggest fans and then you just tweak it from there. Cause I was thinking about, like, I used to do a lot of motivational quotes, and especially in a time like this, I feel like people need positivity. So I was like, let me bring that back. And so I was just asking kind of one of my followers, like, and this is somebody like I don't know. I just know we interact every now and then. And so I was just like, what do you think of this idea? And she was like, yeah, no, that's great. Like I like it. I shared it. She like shared one of my quotes. I think that's what it was. And I was like, let me do more of this. Right. Because at the end of the day, it's like your feed is really for your fans.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what do you guys need? What do you need more of me to do to inspire you? Or just, some people are just like, oh man, that quote hit at the right time. Like that was like, I just needed to see that. Super positive. So I do a lot of just like before I do something bold on Instagram or something like that, I'm like, hey, look, check this out. Is this cool? So, but yeah, definitely use that. But I'm gonna take your tactic. I like that. Just message people that just like, hey, where'd you come from? How'd you find me?
Yeah, it's fun. It's actually fun.
Yeah. No, I love it.
One of the things I did last week, I'm talking about like getting a beat on the audience first. Like, so for me last week, the week after George Floyd was killed.
Yep.
It was for me as a white guy.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what do I like? I don't know what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching people get their heads cut off.
Yeah.
Like by posting the wrong thing. Or
Yeah.
There was a couple marketers that I think it was the Monday after. I won't name names. You probably know who they are. They fucking plowed ahead to sell some stuff and launch some stuff and fucking just like
different times now.
Dude, the people came out of the woodwork to attack them.
Yeah.
And I remember I got some DMs early in the week where I was like, I'm like just trying to like figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And people were like, why aren't you doing more? I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's like I spent a lot of last week just like going, what's going on? I'm watching other people. I'm like, I don't like. You could have the best intentions and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So it like feeling the audience and like getting a beat on like what is it, and not just giving people what they want. I'm not interested in that. Like I'm not interested in being like, what do you want? Yeah, I'm just gonna give you whatever you need. I mean that's good for marketing. Yeah. But also it's like what's gonna be helpful.
Right.
What's going to be helpful right now? Yeah. But that's what you're getting at. Is like it's like you got to have. A lot of times people think about social media as like just this big megaphone. Yeah. And it's a give and take.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I mean, I think the reason why George Floyd was so big was because of the emotion and the emotion that COVID gave everybody about like, let me think about my life. I mean, I know, for instance, like with COVID, when it was coming, when there's not a lot of information, I was just like, am I living the life that I want to live? Like, just in every aspect. Am I around the people that I want to be around? So people are already in an emotional state. Then you have people that are losing their jobs, right, because of it. And then you have people that are losing family members.
Well, there's also a higher rate of job loss for people getting paid less.
Yeah, exactly. So you just have a lot of pain and fear, anxiety in the world, and then George Floyd happens. It's like, how are we on lockdown and police are still killing people? Like, it just doesn't even make sense. And the thing about it is that black men and women have been killed since the beginning of time. But in this moment where we have a pandemic that's like hasn't happened in 100 years, this is the first time that people actually got to stop and think. There was no sports, no distractions. And because I watched it on social media when it unfolded as well. I was just like, this is terrible.
Did you watch the whole video?
Yeah, I watched the whole video and I was just like, this is terrible.
I actually am going to recommend, if you haven't watched the whole video, I actually think that you should.
Yeah,
that's
my opinion. You should.
You say the opposite.
Yeah, I say the opposite only because, like, to watch another man take his last breath is just like, it's fucked up. And I think also it's like I think one of the things about showing black men and women getting killed on camera, it normalizes it.
You think it desensitizes?
Yeah, because think about it. Think about all the people that have been killed. Yeah. Right? We've never done anything like this before.
I mean, if it was happening, if videos were going up all the time and people were watching it, I think it's a problem. For me, I watched it in fucking heartbreak. Right. But when I heard about it, I didn't just stumble across it. I heard about it and went and looked at it. Yeah. And hearing about it, it had one impact. Yeah. Watching it had a different impact. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. I was just like, fuck.
I agree that watching it, watching brings a different emotion out of you. But the thing of it is, like I said, I think the reason why everybody reacted like, I'm tired of this shit this time, is because nobody had any other distractions.
Yeah.
Because, there's Eric Gardner, I Can't Breathe. Like you saw that video. Everybody saw there's been so many videos that people have seen. So that's why I say it's like, I think with COVID stopping everything, now you had the time to just go, what the fuck, right?
Yep.
Because you've seen past videos, but I still think there's something that just normalizes it, desensitizes you as you see it over and over. Yeah. But I think this time it was just like, it was everybody just in a moment of like reflection, and they were just like, no. And I remember the first day it happened, I was just kind of like, this is fucked up, but like, I'm expecting everybody to just go about their life.
Okay.
But then it was like, boom, 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 boom. And I was just like, holy shit, people are finally seeing what I've been experiencing for all my life. But like, at first I had a range of emotions because I'm just like, duh, like this has always been a fucking problem. But at the end of the day, I'm glad people are now finally speaking up, because that's what people should be doing.
Yeah.
Right? Is speaking up. People should be protesting. People should be fucking mad as hell. People should want to change this system. But this is a system that my people have been living with for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new to us, but we're like fed up. And I think everybody, it just got fed up at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the good thing. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know, like, I'm starting to see people go back to their regular scheduled programming, but
I've noticed the heat has died down.
It's died down. Week. But there's two things that I notice is that, one, police are not going to stop killing black people. So it will happen again, and it'll be interesting to see. I just think we have this new, because of the timing of that, I feel like people are now awake to the situation of what's really going on. And so now people, I feel like, should fight, like continue to fight, right? Because it doesn't have to be like this. Yeah. Right? So,
I want to point some things out, like you said, because I fucking dove into this conversation, like just the systemic racism conversation. And there was a lot of things that I had been privy to. Yeah. Like, for instance, things that I was interested in, like the drug war. Yeah. It's like that's put a lot of black men in prison. Yeah. Nonviolent crimes. Right. Like, and it's split up families and it's caused problems. Like that's, and so that's been a terrible thing. But in digging around, when people say, I want to throw what some people are saying out there, and then have the rebuttal to it, because a lot of people are like, well, actually, cops kill more white people than black people, right, in America, which is true on an absolute scale, but there's not as many black people.
Right, that was going to be my
rebuttal. There's not, and so, like, as you're talking about that, I'm hearing, like, I know that people are going to go, oh, but, I'm like, no, but. Yeah. Like, when we look at the percentage of black people that are being killed by cops, it's higher. Yeah. And you can say that it's like, there's more black people in an area where there's militarized police. Why do we have militarized police? Because we have these laws, and that's systemic. Yeah. That systemic racism is when the laws are the system. Yeah. Like in a business, the system, if it's not written down, it's not a system, right? Right. So our cultural system is law. Yeah. And the laws are set up in a way that, like, the way I grew up, like, the laws were written in a way, like, if I just live my life the way my family raised me, I'm fine. Right. But if I was black and grew up in an inner city, then those laws were coming to gun for me in a way.
Exactly. And you're absolutely right. I mean, there are just like systems that are built. I mean, even when you talked about the prison population, I heard this maybe yesterday. It was like, there's like 13% of the United States is like African American, but like they make up like 70% of the prison system. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, can we take a look at that? Yeah. And, the other thing about it is that like there's this private prison system, right, where people are actually getting paid for inmates.
Yep.
So the system is like, cop, okay, I need to arrest somebody so I can put them in jail and keep this system going.
And I've heard stories of prison lobbyists going to DC for the purpose of trying to have stricter drug laws. What the fuck?
Why is weed legal right now and people are in jail for weed?
Yeah, Elon Musk tweeted that last week. I was like, thank you,
it doesn't
Elon.
make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I need more white people to scream about that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like scream about, knock on the fucking doors, be like, this shit is not right. Because we scream, we get thrown in that fucking prison system. So it's like we need other people. That's what like allies are. We need allies to go out there and be like, yo, this shit is fucked up. Like we have a voice and let's change this fucking shit for the good.
Yeah.
Because that's the fucked up part for us is that it's like, you know, I think about the George Floyd video, right? If one of the people that were standing there threw their body into the officer, like if it was a black person, they threw their body into the officer, that person would be beat, shot, you know, we have no idea. But if that was a white person, they may get handcuffed, they may get, you know, their hands put behind the back, but they're not going to get killed in front of all those other people.
Yeah.
So it's like, we just need people of other races to just help out as much as they can. That to me, what I've been seeing on social media has just brought me so much joy because I'm just like seeing people. And to be honest, the thing of it is for me as a black man, I'm just assuming that everybody knows how fucked up it's been. Right.
No,
but people haven't. And so I'm like, oh shit, we need to educate ourselves.
Going back to that bubble.
Yeah. The bubble.
Like the social media bubble, the same thing happens in life.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, most people are in a bubble. I was hanging out with, so last week I did a journaling exercise. I woke up and I was like, I'm going to write about my experience of race from the earliest childhood memory till current time.
Yeah.
It took me 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I got through it. And I grew up in a diverse neighborhood. My parents were awesome. You know, my grandparents, I remember interacting with my grandparents for the first time when I was like 6, 7 years old, and they said some shit. My parents pulled me aside and was like, they're old?
Yeah.
Don't listen to that.
Yeah. And
so like, I had a lot of gratitude, but at the same time, I've also talked to some people in the last week who grew up in places like, oh yeah, I was just like, and I started hearing, I go, oh, like I've been naive that I thought most white people were holding my perspective too.
Yeah.
And then I start talking to people and I go, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, there's a lot of things like the statues getting torn down in Richmond and of slave owners. And I was like, never fucking thought of that.
Never thought of it.
But then when I talked to my friend Paris about it, he goes, yeah, man, I walk by that
all the time,
throwing up, and every time it registers. I was like, fuck, man, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's, I've posted a lot of things on social media, and I've had a lot of white people reach out to me and just say, thank you for posting that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And that's a start, is just acknowledgement of the situation. I think that's step one for everybody. It's like, let's just all do a little bit of research and figure it out. So it's like, when I want to figure out about the Holocaust, I have to research it. There's Google. Google's a great place to start, right? There's tons of and like easy Netflix. Go watch 13th. Start there. That's a good documentary.
Yeah, Valerie was telling me about that. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
She's like, watch it before you see Cliff. I'm like,
we watch fucking Tiger King, right? So it's like, just take some time.
13th. 13th is what it's called.
Yeah, 13th. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's been out for a while. And to be honest, I assumed that everybody had seen that. So I like posted that the other day, and I was just like, people were like, oh, I just saw that last Wednesday. It was so good. And I'm just like, last fucking Wednesday? Like, no wonder everybody is just now becoming awakened to this stuff, because it's just like, we're being distracted by so many different things, right? So it's like,
yeah, man, I've been having a good time.
Yeah, everybody's been having a good time.
We've all been having a good time.
Everybody's been having a good time until the world stops. COVID is like, COVID disease, like, thank you, COVID, for stopping the world and making everybody just pay the fuck attention to everything. Because I'm like, nothing is the same. I can't go work out. You know, it's like, it's hard to go get food. You know, I'm fucking hoarding toilet paper in the beginning. I'm doing all kinds of silly shit. And it's just made you think about life, right?
Yeah.
And your own life, your family's life, what you want people to want. And it's just like, as a humanity, it's let us take a breath and just say, okay, what the fuck is going on? What am I doing? What do I want my life to be about? And what do I want to fight for? Right? Because our time on this earth is limited. Yeah. And so it's like, what do you want to leave at the very end? Do you want to say, oh, I got all these cars, I got all this money, had so many parties and all this other stuff. But it's like, you can't take any of that with you when you're gone. So it's like, do you just want to be a meaningless life on this world, or do you want to actually make some change, right? And so I try to live my life with like that at the forefront is like, my time on this earth is limited, right? Like, yeah, hopefully I live to 150. Hopefully they got that magic pill that makes me live to 170. I'm definitely taking it. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you were laying on your deathbed tomorrow, would you feel like you got what you wanted done? And if not, you got to change some shit up, right? Yeah. So I think about those things. I think Brendan Bouchard talks about the three things he thinks about is, have I lived, have I loved, and did I matter? Yeah. Those are the three things you ask yourself on your deathbed. Yeah. And I want to make sure that I have those questions like fully like, yes, I'm good with that. Send me away. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Have you had, I'm going to left turn here.
Yeah, left turn. Let's go left.
Have you had, like growing up in Oakland, have you had negative experiences with police? Like what's your experience when you see a cop?
So, yeah. So there was somebody posting on social media is like, black men, what age were you when you first had your police interaction? And there were some wild stories. And mine was...
Did Sean King post that?
No, it was another friend of mine.
I think I saw Pete.
He might have posted that.
I've been following him. I found him in the last
Follow
week.
Sean King if you want to get the real. A lot of people, that's just one.
If you see my Instagram feed, there's Sean King, and then there's people bashing Sean King.
That's one place. that's one place to get information.
I feel he's done a really good job. Like his Instagram feed is like it's cultivated very well.
Yeah, he knows how to get the word out. So if you want to see some real shit, you want to learn about what the fuck is going on, go to Sean King. But I've had multiple interactions, and a lot of it is just being pulled over, right? I've worked hard for my money, so I like to drive nice cars, and so there's this like, is this his car kind of thing? So I've been pulled over for having one of my 2 license plate bulbs out. I've been pulled over for tinted windows. I remember one time the alarm at my house went off and I couldn't fucking get it off. So the police showed up and they ID'd me in my own house. And I was like, come on.
Well, what I'm curious about is like what the feeling is during the interaction.
So, I mean, my mom taught me, like, don't, reach for anything, put your hands on the wheel. So the feeling is, I don't want to die. This next feeling is, I don't want to go into that prison system.
That's what you're thinking when you interact.
That's the first thing. Because my thing is like,
I get nervous. Yeah. I don't like interacting with cops either.
Yeah.
Like, and I started interacting with cops and it's like, fuck. But I don't think about that.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about that.
Because I know that once they get you, then they've got you. And so, and you never know what they're on for that night, right?
Right.
So it's just kind of like the first, the question I always get is like, as soon as they come up, is like, do you have any warrants or you're on parole? That's the first question.
Really?
First question off top. And so it's like that level of disrespect makes you so mad you want to just like go off, but you can't. No, officer, I'm not on parole, don't have any warrants.
You get pulled over on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I've been asked that before, but I've been pulled over a lot. So like,
yeah.
I should have been pulled over. Like,
yeah.
I was a speed demon back in the day.
Yeah.
So but, it wasn't because of I was too white.
Yeah.
I was too stupid. Yeah, but yeah, I got asked that like once or twice.
Yeah. Like, I've also been,
but that's common.
Yeah, and I've also been pulled over. I remember one time this guy pulled me over. I was on the freeway, And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I'm like, I didn't do anything. And he's like, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, why? He's like, you were going 70. I'm like, speed limit is 65, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like,
in California.
This is in California.
Where 65 actually means 85.
And so he ends up, and he's like, I find out later that he wasn't CHP, like he was like a street cop, whatever. And so he can only write me a warning, but he wrote me a warning. Like
on the freeway.
And I'm just
Which
like.
they're not allowed on the freeway.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? And I think he got me like as I was getting on the freeway or whatever. And I was just like, this is fucking wild. But I got a wild cop story for you that I found out 2 years ago. So my uncle was killed by the police in 1944, right? Long fucking time ago. And he was in the army, stationed out. I think he was like in Utah. And one night he got into some disturbance somewhere, and the police showed up, and he took off running. Back in the day, the way the police were trying to get you to stop from running away was shoot at you. And so, like, they shot at him. He didn't stop. They shot at him a second time. He didn't stop. They shot him at a third time, and they hit him in the back of the head and killed him.
Oh, shit.
And so it was a big trial. And the cops ended up getting off because they said that they thought he might have been involved in a crime the night before, and that was like their defense. And they literally got off.
Great reason to shoot somebody.
Yeah. Here's the crazy part about this. His name was Clifford Worley.
Shut up.
I was named after him. Right? So when George Floyd, when, the Trayvon Martins, Eric Gardners, when all of them get killed by the police, that triggers something in me. And a lot of black people who have had their families murdered and devastated by police, right, over the years. And a lot of people just don't know that. It's just kind of like we hold that. It's like, I'm not going to go on CNN and say that this is what happened to me. This is how I feel. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's not right. It happens over and over and over again. And the more that we fight for it, the more we get thrown into the system. Or people say, oh, you guys are crazy. Everything is good for blacks now. Da, 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 da. It's like, it's not. And it's like, until the world stopped and you see George Floyd, you go, all those things that you've been avoiding and just kind of putting to the side start to go, oh, shit. This has been happening over and over. The other part is like, the part about George Floyd that I'm kind of like, I'm sure everybody's probably like, well, the cops got arrested. That's good. But I think it's like 99% of all police shootings have been like not convicted.
Yeah. The law, the way, and I think it's different from state to state. I'm not 100% on this, but like what I understand is cops get a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
A lot of leeway when it comes to, if they kill somebody or get rough with somebody even.
Right.
Like they get a lot of leeway.
And so,
and I understand that job's tough.
Oh,
being a cop.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
That's got to be that's a crazy fucking job, man.
It is. You have a lot of crazy shit that you walk into, and they put their lives on the line. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you get to just take somebody's life whenever you feel like it. And I think that's the hard part for me right now that I don't think people see is that like these cops may get off. I think everybody in their head is like, oh, they got arrested. That's good. Like, they're going to go to jail for the rest of their life. They may just get off because that's what's been happening.
I mean, my thing is those cops are fucked. Because, like, they put them in prison. They gotta isolate them. They're going to get killed. They let them out. They're going to get killed. They're done. Just because of the public nature of it.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been publicized, you're right.
Yeah.
But I think because it's been publicized, like, those guys can't go anywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, I think about George Zimmerman. He's still walking around.
Yeah.
And he's talking shit while he's walking around. So it's like, I hear you, but just the way that society
I could be wrong. Yeah, this is just an assumption I have.
Yeah, the way society, I mean, I think about that too, because I'm like, then I think about prison, then I'm like, there's probably like other cops in prison that have a gang and they're like, just come over here, nobody's gonna fuck with you, right? So prison, that's a whole nother game. But at the end of the day, it's like he can get off. he can go to prison. He can get out of prison early. At the end of the day, it was like the thing that I'm more concerned about is that structure of police brutality still exists on the outside. So we got one bad cop off the street, but there's still a lot other ones.
I've been really thinking and studying a bit lately, and just the idea of authority has been a topic that I started diving into. It's like the idea that people are given authority by who? Like, where's this authority coming from? Who's giving them the authority? The cops, the police, the government. Let's just say the government, because I mean, you talk about police and you got military as well. Which is they have a monopoly on violence, and they're the only ones that can do it. And if you're a cop or in the military, and I was in the military, so call myself out on this. Is if you conduct violence, like all of a sudden you get a pass. That because it's for like a good cause, or I was taking orders, or what the fuck ever, and it gets gray really quick.
And I mean, that's the thing. It's like we need to like look at that as a society and go, that doesn't seem right. I mean, yes, we want police to protect us, like 100%. I get it, but we also don't want police to kill us as well. And so it's like.
What I'm asking myself right now is, can we organize without authority?
That's a great question. Isn't like Costa Rica doesn't have a military or some shit?
Yeah, so I love it down there.
I'm like, can we just all be Costa Rican? Like, let's all go down to Costa Rica for a case study and figure out like how to just get along. I haven't been down there yet, but I've heard that they don't have like a military.
They don't have a military, and it's pretty chill. I mean, if you go down to the capital, San Jose, I mean, there's great parts of town, and there's not so great parts of town. There's still like crime and shit, but like, Costa Rica is one of the safest other countries I've been to. Like, I feel safer in like San Jose, Costa Rica than I do in some places in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's also some wild sections of it. Like,
I'm sure
you can get in trouble down there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially if you hang out with me.
But, let me know when you're going back.
Actually, Colombia is where is one of my favorite places, and I actually have to look over my shoulder there more. But it's like the fun versus the danger.
Right.
But Colombia, as you know, is like got a lot of let's see if I can say the word authoritarian.
Yeah.
How do you say it? Authoritarian.
I get what you're saying.
I can never say that word.
Authoritarian.
Yeah, they got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
Like they're under tight watch.
Right.
With Pablo Escobar and all that whole fucking history. There's just been like a lot of infighting. So it's wild.
And in terms of like I think right now the big movement is like defund the police, right? And I like a different word is like just reallocate some of the funds, right? So it's like, okay, like, because we've defunded the education system. So my thing is like reallocate some of that over here. It's like, do we really need these huge, the police to have these huge military weapons, or can we just hire more teachers in California?
Yeah, I think, we got to look at, I love this topic. So we have like, why is the police militarized in the first place?
Yeah.
And I see two things, is war on drugs.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's, like, the cops going to war. The cops are going to war. Like, gangs only exist.
Yeah.
I mean, gangs will always exist because,
Yeah.
But when they have something to slang, it's like it gives them money. It creates it creates something there.
Yeah.
And then there's someone to fight. There's an enemy. And so now you have this militarization, and then you also have a lot of former military.
Yeah.
Coming into the police force.
Right.
I mean, I remember when I got out, I was like, being a cop seems pretty sweet. Like, it looks the same.
Yeah.
It looks the same. Like, I was like, I got a gun here, I got a gun there. Like, the hierarchy is similar. It looks like an easy transition.
Yeah.
But the job is the opposite. It's the opposite fucking job.
Yeah.
You go in the military to wage war.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You join the police force to protect and serve.
Right.
That's the opposite. Like, you're supposed to be caring. right?
Yeah.
And so I think between those two things is we have a war on drugs.
Yeah.
And then we have the police there's a lot of veterans.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks. As a veteran, like when I got out of the military, it was a tough transition.
Yeah.
And I had it easy compared to a lot of guys. A lot of guys have it way harder than I had it.
Yeah. And
it's like, man, that's like an easier transition.
Yeah.
But I say take that shit away.
Yeah.
Like that's not an option. If you've been to war, you don't get to be a police officer.
Yeah.
That's just no.
Yeah.
So we have that going on. And so like I think that's why so then we get into like the education system.
Right.
It's like there's a lot of money that can be put into that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But I'm still concerned about just dumping in the education because like who runs the education?
Yeah.
The authority.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's an interesting.
The other piece that I've been thinking about, because I'm always like trying to get to root causes and stuff. It's like, but like the cop that killed George Floyd, he had like 18 other like infractions against him.
He killed somebody.
And so I'm kind of like,
I think it was 2012 he killed somebody.
So it's like at what point does the system like not reward that, right? So it's like, so that way there's like an easier way to get bad cops out of the system, right? Because I'm always just like, can we dig into that and find out like who was the one that said, oh yeah, that's fine, let's get them out of there? Who was the one above him who said that's fine? I don't know if you've seen the Jeffrey Epstein Netflix. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, go there.
But
I haven't seen it.
If you watch it, you'll just see how like the judicial system works at a super high level. And he just got away with whatever the fuck he wanted to do because he had a whole bunch of fucking money.
Yeah.
And
not everyone's playing by the same rules.
Yeah. So to me,
some of the rules are imagined.
To me,
some of the rules are enforced.
Yeah. And you've got cops, you've got the judicial system, and then you got prisons. And that's like the three things in common is just that they have a lot of fucking power.
Yeah.
So unless we're attacking that stuff, it's going to be, the thing of it is like these systems have been around for a long time. So it's not like there is no easy solution like, we're going to close down all prisons tomorrow, or we're going to just like defund all the police tomorrow, and then we're just going to put all of it towards education. This is going to be a long time change, but we've got to start somewhere because it's like this can't continue, right? And I think they're talking about defunding the police in Minneapolis. I've seen like case studies where like they've already done that in other cities and it's working fine. So like as a model, I know in Oakland they're talking about doing it as well. And when you start to see these charts, my thing is like just go research your city budget and how money gets allocated, and then if you can like go deeper and see like where they spent that shit. It's like, okay, your police department spent $2.4 million on a tank, and it's like,
why the fuck do you have a tank?
Like, can you?
Dude, if they need a tank,
yeah,
call the National Guard. All right.
So it's kind of like you just gotta like. I think as citizens, we have to do a little bit more work on researching what's actually going on.
We've been lazy.
We just trust. We trust that like.
Well,
everybody's
like we were saying earlier, like life's been good.
Yeah, life's been good.
Like why question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID came in and said nobody's life's good.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know, man. Those 2 months were sweet for me.
I loved it.
I got a lot of shit done.
I built a course.
Yeah, I was like, I built a new course.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be on lockdown in the house for 2 months and not come out with a product. Yeah. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Same.
Because I want to look back. I was thinking, I was like, I could see myself out in the streets post COVID and be like, you stupid motherfucker, you didn't do nothing with your life. And I'm like, I'm not.
What's your course on?
It's on LinkedIn. So like basically doing B2B sales on LinkedIn. A lot of people have like.
I think I should take your course.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's
LinkedIn
legit.
is the one I haven't fucking tackled yet.
I fucking love LinkedIn.
Do you?
One day, it hit me last year and I was just like, if I want to get business done, usually there's somebody at a company that makes the business decision. And most business people are on LinkedIn. So I'm like, well, I'm over here focused on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm like, let me go focus on business people. So I just dug into LinkedIn around like April last year, and I remember I had this project I was working with a friend of mine who works with Steph Curry. And so we were just pitching, kind of ideas to companies. And I mean, I would just go to a company, say, hey, I'm trying to work on this. Boom, I get an instant response. And I'm like, you're telling me it was this easy? Now, mind you, yes, we were pitching Steph Curry, but at the end of the day, it's just people.
Yeah.
And everybody, it's about like business in general is about creating value. Like if I have some value for you that I know and I can show that to you, I can pitch that to you in a clear way, then you're good. That's how money's made.
Yeah.
But it's when you don't have any value and you're just like, hey man, I want to jump on the phone because I got something that kind of works and it breaks all the time. But so like you're wasting.
I want to do your bookkeeping.
Yeah.
You're like, don't send me that shit on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So it's like you have to be really clear about what you're selling and what you want and what benefits you provide, because I mean people's lives are super busy. Like if somebody came to me on LinkedIn and had like a legit value prop for me, I would pick up the phone and do it. Like, let's do it. Let's talk. Let's talk. But it's like, if it's just like, hey, I just want to connect with other marketing professionals. Great. Connect. Don't talk to me about anything else.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
if you're like, hey man, I see that you're super into Instagram. I just found this like crazy hack that's got me like 15,000 followers. I would love to like jump on a call and like just shoot ideas past each other. It's bringing value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, hey man, I want to learn all your tips and secrets. It's like, yes, but here's a price for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Well, there's a saying that's like, just because it took me 10 minutes to do, you're paying me for the 3 years that it took me how to figure out how to do that in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think there's a story about Picasso.
Oh, is it?
Like he was like doodling
yeah.
on a napkin in a restaurant or something, and somebody was like, oh, can I buy that from you?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, like listed off some big number, and they're like, what the fuck? It just took you like, I just saw you doodling this. He's like, my whole life.
Yeah.
It's my whole life leading up to that one thing.
Exactly. And you got to respect that. You got to respect that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I what I would do was I'd wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. Actually, 4:30. 4:30 every morning for a month. I said, let me just give myself a month. I made an outline, and just like from 5 to 6, just 1 hour. Mm-hmm. And then just create. Slides, copy, record, edit. Slides, copy, record, edit. And then just did that for 30 days straight. Course is done.
Hell yeah.
And that's it. And now I'm sleeping in now. Right?
But by the way, folks, it's not that easy. Cliff is a really good marketer.
Yeah.
So
I've been at this for a while.
He knew what to create.
Yes.
Like, I know some people are like, I created a course I can sell. Like, well, you didn't have anyone to sell it to. Like, there's a lot of things that happened before that. So
there is, yeah.
It's not that simple.
You're right.
But when you have Cliff's background, it is that simple.
Yeah. It's about knowing, and I'll give kind of like my blueprint on this is that I do presentations.
Yeah.
And I do them for free. I teach people stuff for free. I'm saying, here's my knowledge. Hopefully it helps you. In that experience of doing those presentations over and over, I start to realize that people need a little bit more. They're like, this is great, but if you could just show me how to do this, I'd really appreciate it. And so I was taking calls with people, showing people, and I'm just like, I don't have the time to do this. But if I could just record this.
That's the best time to make a course.
Yeah. If I could just record this and then give it to those people, then that's great.
Yeah.
And so I've been sitting on this concept for 6 months, which is why when COVID hit, I'm like, Cliff, all you've been asking for is to be in the house. and now you're here.
Silver platter.
Yeah. And it took me, I mean, I was fucked up for a while when COVID hit because I was just like, I'm stuck in the house. It's day 30. But then I was just like, you know what? No, I'm going to build a routine. I'm going to stick at it.
Oh, yeah.
And then just build because I'm never going to get this time. I don't know how long COVID's going to last, but at least for right now, there's like no end date. So I'm going to build. And all I did was just take that.
Well, I'm saying COVID's over. I'm done.
You're done?
I'm going back to normal.
I hear you. I hear you. I'm getting antsy myself, man. I'm like, at this point, somebody cough in my face because I'm like, just give me the shit and let me give it back on the life. I'm like 50-50 on that sometimes. I tell people that all the time. Just give it to me. But yeah. So yeah, I woke up and I used Google Slides. I used Camtasia to do the recording, and I've got a little mic And then I put the course up on Teachable, which is like you just once your videos are done, you drop it on there. It's $39 a month.
Yeah.
And boom, and that's it. Simple.
Boom.
Kind of simple, but it just takes discipline and knowing what people want. That's
the hard part.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
A master marketer knows what people want.
Yeah.
People don't realize. People think that like marketing is about like saying the right thing and all that. It's like you don't get to do any of that shit until you know what people want. And that's the magic.
Yeah, timing too is like.
Oh yeah.
You can. I've built a course. I remember I built a course on Instagram. I spent months building this thing, and then Instagram completely reskinned.
Oh no.
And I was just like, my course is invalid. So it's like there's just a lot of different things you got to take into consideration when building the course. But it's like move quickly, get it out there.
I like to sell the course and then build it as I go.
You know, Val told me that she stopped me mid course and she was like, Cliff, sell the course now, so that way you know people want.
So Cliff, I got this course on how to build courses as you go.
I might build that next.
Yeah.
How to build a course.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people know how to do that.
I have that's my next course coming out.
Oh,
it's called Build.
Boom.
Boom.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I was actually thinking about like trying to document myself. Yeah. Like building a course so that you can sell that later.
What I did is I built the company, The Strong Coach. Uh-huh. And I just told people exactly how I did it.
Yeah.
Which was like I asked people like, what do you want? And then, you know, I did that enough. But I basically my new course is coming out is just like exactly how I built the company that's doing pretty fucking good.
And what you said is very important, is that you asked people what they wanted.
Yeah.
A lot of us just build stuff that we think is cool. Yeah. But it's about what other people want. Somebody wants a course on whatever, it's like, all right, we're building that.
Yeah. It's
get enough people.
You gotta put the ego aside, or because there's so many things that like when I started building the company, I was like, I want to teach this, I want to teach this. I had all these great ideas, and then I started interacting with people. I'm like, I'm not gonna teach any of that. Yeah, it's like that's like the next level. Yeah, they have to be like way bought in before they're even interested in that.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And you know what I did when Val told me, she's like, stop building it, just sell it. I was scared to sell it, but I said, you know, I'm just gonna send this to 6 people. 5 people bought.
Nice.
And that's when I was like, I've got something.
Yeah, you're on something.
Now I was like, let me go hurry up and finish building it, and gave me the pressure, and then we've been rocking ever since. So like, thank you COVID for pushing me to the limit to get this course done, because it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, man.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I want to go back to the race thing actually.
Yes, let's do it.
What I want to hear about your experience in Oakland during the protest for one. Okay. But before we get to that, let's cover that, and then I want to find out. Well, I'll ask that question after. Okay. Tell me about because you told me a good bit about you live downtown in the heart. Like we had to I walked in the door and everything was boarded up. Yeah. And I was and you're standing out there. I was like, this is kind of like all right.
So Oakland is home of the protest. And so, we've been protesting for weeks, but I think probably 2 weeks ago, it was on a Friday, the protest, I remember the protest, I can't remember, the protest was called Fuck the Police, that's what it was. And so we went out there, I was out there.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong, right? So I'm out there protesting and everything, and so I was out there for a while, came back home, and I live in the smack dab of downtown. And the protesters are literally my window's right here, and they're just everybody's out right there. And so all of a sudden everybody starts coming down Broadway, the street, and pure fucking pandemonium starts. They just start busting out windows, breaking shit. And I was just like, these people must not be from Oakland, because they're damaging local businesses that are owned by Black and brown people. And I'm like, this isn't right. And so they fucking just lit fires, just crazy. Somebody hot-wired a bulldozer.
Yeah. Did you put all this on Instagram, or
I didn't?
No, you didn't.
I didn't put any of this on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this was.
You showed me some some video and pictures on your phone.
Yeah. I haven't shared any of that stuff, but I know people have told me that the bulldozer has gone viral because somebody was like, "Oh, somebody," and I was like, "Yeah."
Just look up the Oakland bulldozer.
Oakland bulldozer. That was my building where it was in front of. But the interesting thing was, I woke up the next day, and I was just like, this just didn't seem like the message that the protesters earlier that night wanted to send.
Yeah.
A federal security guard got shot and killed.
Yeah.
They ended up just catching the guy who was like in the military, which was just weird. He killed another cop out.
Well, he's in the army.
He's in the army.
Yeah. He killed
Travis Air Force Base or something like that.
Yeah, he killed somebody else.
Killed somebody here and then killed another cop.
But then we were looking him up. And his wife was found dead in a hotel a couple years ago. So it's probably just some whacked out dude.
Night, all I can say is that the night was fucking wild. It was pure anarchy in the streets. And
were you like expecting Joker and Batman to come out?
I mean, Joker was riding by, smiling in the backseat of the police car, just loving the shit. And it was wild. I mean, it was wild to see. I mean, people were definitely angry, and I think that the world needs to wake up because people are mad. I mean, you see protests going all across the world, and I think this is the revolution that's happening right now, where people are just like, they're tired of it. And the other thing you got to think about is like, people are unemployed.
Yep.
So people are broke right now.
Yep.
And hurt. You've got unemployment. You've got COVID, and you got the George Floyd thing.
Yep.
People don't own anything. Fuck Target. They don't own Target.
Yep.
Fuck them. So people have reached that point of fuck it.
Yeah.
And police, they didn't come. They were like, this is some wild shit. We'll come in later. But yeah, it was wild to watch. People were mad.
Yeah.
People were mad. So I get front row seat from my window. And I mean, the part of it, I mean, like, I want to protest, and I do it from time to time. But then there's like COVID out there, and there's not enough information out there. Like, that's what's fucked up, is that it's like you want to protest for a cause, but then it's like you have to risk your life for it. It's at the same point. I was talking to a guy who was just like, why are all these people protesting? They're going to be spreading COVID. I'm just like, people are ready to die for this fucking cause. That's why, because people are fucking tired of the shit. And so, it's just fucked up all around.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of it. That happened 2 weeks ago. I think his funeral was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the crazy part is that like it went from George Floyd to like protesters versus police. Then police have been shooting and killing protesters. So then that angers people even more. The
tear gas
fucking
videos I've been watching. I'm like, what is going? We're tear gassing our people.
You see the old man get knocked down?
Yeah.
You see that video? That's
you know what though? Like I was talking to a guy I've done a lot of video work with in the past. We were chopping up the other day, and he listed off a number of videos he doesn't think are real. And he's a videographer. He's like I do this for a living. He's like, man, that shot.
Which one?
The one set up. Yeah. He's like, that looks set up.
But is that blood coming out of his head? You think that's fake too?
Well, he said that why is it that someone can video and they're right there on the spot and they're catching it? Like not the reality. He's not saying that it didn't look real, but like he's like how did that shot happen?
Yeah.
I mean, and just
that's the other thing.
Questions he's bringing up is like it's like a lot of these shots seem staged. That's what he said, and he's been doing video his whole life.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about now in society is that like you can actually doctor a video up to where you can be talking at the video and not actually be you.
Yeah, you
right?
can't. So you can't tell a difference anymore.
Yeah. So we're just in that's been I'll tell you, to be honest, that's been the hardest part for me, is to figure out like what's real and what's not. Like you got the WHO coming out yesterday talking about asymptomatic cases, like they're not as contagious as we thought they were. And I'm like,
what the fuck did we just
90 days later you're telling me this?
They don't know shit.
So it's just like, and then Fauci comes out today and says, no, they're wrong, they misspoke. And then the WHO comes out and talks about, oh yeah, we did misspeak. And I'm just like, what is going on? I read a little bit about the 1918 pandemic, and they were saying that one of the things that that went well during that time is the president just had a consistent message. There was a message out there that just made you like, okay, this is what it is. But now it's like, I don't know what to believe. I mean, you got people saying that the coronavirus is a Democratic hoax. So I'm like, we go from hoax to it's like the deadliest thing, since SARS. So it's like, I don't know what's going on, but I will be staying inside until it's figured out.
Yeah, I remain a skeptic, but I will also behave as though it's dangerous. So it's like I'm watching.
Gotta play both sides.
It's like I'm following the rules, but I'm watching you motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I'm watching
playing both sides. I mean, the thing I've been doing is I'm probably like a COVID psycho, but I have like 18 dashboards that I look at every morning, and I'm like, okay, the numbers go up. Da, da, da. I'm like, why do these numbers don't match? Da, da, da. I'm looking at news sources.
That was me for a few weeks, and then everything stopped matching. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, but
I'm done.
I've got a doctor friend who I know personally who has been like spot on, and so like I just read his blog, and so when I watch the news and the media, like I know the truth behind it, and then like they're like, oh, we've got these brand new antibody tests, and so everybody's like, yeah, like we can find out, but then it's like I read the doctor's like 50% of those tests are bullshit, and so it's like, and then 3 weeks later, here comes the media, oh yeah, the antibody tests don't look like they're working, so I'm like, you got to get your information from multiple sources because
I mean, in the beginning, it made it sound like it would spread like wildfire. Yeah. And when they were talking about locations and how it spread, I was like, dude, I travel constantly. Yeah. I was in so many international airports. Yeah. Like when it was spreading, I was like, I should have gotten it. Like, me and my crew, we're all talking, trying like, we probably got exposed to it if it's like,
yeah, for sure. I was down in Mardi Gras.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so I fucking got COVID. and then I went to San Diego for a conference from Mardi Gras. And then I came home.
Yeah. So you got the COVID.
Yeah. I always tell people, they're like, oh, yeah, like I was feeling fine. I'm like, yeah, it's because you got the COVID. So I am waiting on the antibody test. I need them to get their shit together, though. But I want to see if I have the COVID antibodies because...
you want to get down.
I was down in Mardi Gras getting down, okay? So they was calling me Corona Cliff. So I think for sure I was exposed.
Oh, that's funny. All right, let's wrap it up. I want to know, yes. For me, everything went down the last couple of weeks, and like the question I was asking myself is before acting too quickly. Yeah. And I wanted to be wise in my actions. Yeah. What can white people do in this situation? Because I think a lot of people are like, I see a lot of people posting like, oh, I'm just gonna sit like it's almost like I'm gonna sit here and feel guilty. Yeah. And like that's their way of acknowledging it. And I know for me, my take on it is my job right now is to acknowledge it. Yeah. Acknowledge it, that it's happening. Yeah. Period. Yeah. And then wait for something new to come in. But like, what are you seeing that like, if someone's like confused or because I know a lot of people have been attacked. Like I've talked to a lot of people who have been attacked for not doing enough. Or whatever. And it's just like, people are just confused and I think they want to understand before they act. Because a term I'm hearing thrown around, which are like, when I hear this term, I'm like, ooh, is like, I don't want to be on the wrong side of history. Yeah. I'm like, that's not really a good reason to do or not do something. Yeah. Like you should do something because it's right. Right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Not because you're afraid that someone's going to judge you for being on the wrong side of history.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about this a lot. And I remember I watched, because I mean, even for me, I was like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do in this situation? But, Toni Morrison has this interview where, Charlie Rose asked her a question and he's like, what do you think about white supremacy? Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, she gave her answer and then she's like, it's not actually my problem. She was like, but what do you think about white supremacy? It's like, you're a white man, you know what's going on and you're not doing anything about it. How do you feel? And so I think, number one is like, just start doing some research, right? Like start understanding systemic racism, start understanding the history, of Black people in this country and really start sticking up for what's right. Like, check your friends, check your family when they make these comments. Like, donate, right? Like, and I don't think you have to always be out there saying, this is wrong, but do what you feel in your heart is right. Like for you putting me on your podcast, thank you, right? That you're highlighting my story to your audience. That's something that you are doing, right? And then I would also just say is like, I'm always about like I had a friend that voted for Trump and I didn't understand why he did. And so we just had a conversation about it. So it's like, have conversations with people, understand people's side of the story, because I think it's like through conversation is where we learn. I would love to like have a conversation with a super racist person and just like see if we can come in the middle and like just like give me your perspective, I'll give you my perspective, and see if we can change.
Know what? I'll facilitate that conversation.
Yeah.
All right, if you're super racist,
come on down to Oakland. We'll have a great conversation.
Yeah, but we need a super racist white person.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, we're all human beings, right? And it's like, everybody has stereotypes, but I think it's just like educating. The thing that's been so big to me is that like, I just didn't realize that there were so many people that didn't know that was what was going on. Yeah. And so I'm like, let's just start with educating ourselves and then educating other people, right? Yeah. Because it's going to take a village, right? It's not just going to be one thing. But donate to causes that you've read. Like if you're researching something and you're like, you know what, this is dope. I'm gonna donate to this, or like you want to highlight voices, or you want to whatever. It's like I don't have the answer, but I can tell you what's making me happy right now is like seeing white people on social media say that this is wrong and just standing up for the injustice. Yeah. Like that's great. Yeah. That's great because it's just acknowledging it, right? Yeah. That's the phase we're in. This is not going to be something that's changed overnight, you know, but just understand it. And it's like there's just multiple systems. And if you just, I think if you understand the history and say, oh yeah, that they fucked them, and I can see why now. Marketer Billy Jean, he just came out with this video today. He said this analogy of like, imagine you're running a race, 400-year race. For 300 years, me as a black man, I'm running that race with one leg, and white people are running with two legs. And so they're way ahead of you. And then how do you say it? And then in 100 years, they've actually given you two legs, but you're still behind and you're still trying to catch up. And so what people got to realize is that wealth was generated in that head start, and that's passed down to generation after generation after generation. So it's like we're so behind, and there's still systems in place that don't allow us to get ahead. And so it's like, together as a country, as people, let's break those systems down. Yeah. And make it even.
Yeah. Some of the work I do works with what people learn between ages of 0 and 7. Mm-hmm. And that really dictates your personality, how you relate to yourself, how you relate to the world, how you relate to money, like wealth, how you relate to just people. Yep. And one of the things that I've become present to, like I think a lot of people were like, yeah, I'm my own person. I'm like, no, you inherited all of, like whatever it is that was passed down from your parents, you got that, right? And so, like if you do grow up in like a wealthy family, like wealth is passed, it's a mindset. Like you know that. Like you probably had to change your mindset a lot. Like I've had to change my mindset a lot around money, so that I could make more of it, and all this, and how your parents are around those things. So like you're right, like these things are inherited and passed down. Yeah. Some of it's structural, but some of it's just like we inherit these beliefs about things. Yep, for sure. So what, like inside that context, I mean, we could change structures. Yeah. But what about beliefs? Yeah. Like, no, for sure. Like, and I mean, everyone suffers from that. Like, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Like, how do we like help people shift how they think? Because you're right. Like, I got my friend Paris. I was talking to him the other day, and he what he witnessed as a child in the 70s was like, oh shit, like it wasn't that long ago. That shit's passed down.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's work to be done.
Right.
And I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I do know some places we can start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's it. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show today.
All good.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Sweet.